Hello, my name is Magnus Olsen and we're going to talk about the bees and the wasps. Why? Because many of you can't tell the difference between these two insects, and I do not blame you. It can be hard to tell these things apart. Now with the help of this video, I will put the end to all this confusion right here at bees versus wasps. Bees. Let's start with the bees. Now, all careful there, little guy. Alright. All honeybees are social and cooperative insects. A hive's inhabitants are generally divided into three types. Workers are the only bees that most people ever see. These bees are female, that are not sexually developed. Workers forage for food, pollen, and nectar from flowers. They build and protect the hive, clean and circulate air by beating their wings, and perform many other societal functions. The queen's job, of course, is simple, laying the eggs that will spawn the hives and next generation of bees. There is usually only a single queen in each hive. If the queen dies, workers will create a new queen by feeding one of the female's larvae an exclusive diet of a food called royal jelly. This elixir enables the workers to develop into a fertile queen. Queens also regulate the hive's activities by producing chemicals that guide the behavior of the bees. Male bees are drones, the third class of the bees. Several hundred drones live in each hive during the spring and summer, but they are expelled for the winter months when the hive goes into a lean survival mode. Many beehives have long provided humans with honey and bee wax. Such commercial uses have spawned a large beekeeping industry, though many species still occur in the wild. The bee, as you all know, is incredibly popular. Really popular in real life, books, cartoons, and product placement. Let's face it, the bee is everywhere, literally, because there are about 7,000 different species of bees around the world, and they provide pollen for the plants who need them because they're pollinators. You see, these fat bees help plants deliver pollen to other plants so they can reproduce to make more plants. So, without these insects, there wouldn't be plants, natures, and fruits. Using their weird-looking tongue, they will suck up all the nectar they need to give to their hive. Then once they're done, they can have sweet, delicious honey. They're done using their mutated straws, they will deliver their nectar to their terrifying-looking hive and place it into nice-looking honeycombs. But if you're thinking of trying to get that honey, well, think again. Try getting some at the store. It's much better that way and requires no stinging. So, to be continued, these bees contain a secret weapon they will use against predators known as the stinger. You've all heard that when a bee stings you, it dies and the venom doesn't kill you, unless you're allergic to bees, of course. So, sorry bee, your days are numbered. But do you know what can kill you? If you get stung by an entire swarm of bees, then that will kill you. Many people suffer from swarm attacks, most deaths caused by the African killer bee. Bees kill a whopping 58 people per year. Most of the victims are allergic to bee stings. It's not the bees' fault. Bees are surprisingly less aggressive than wasps. The reason why people die from them is because they provoke bees or tease them. And if you continue provoking these charming insects, then they're gonna turn into something ugly. So please try not doing anything stupid in angering the insects, because then they can get deadly really fast. But they're not as terrifying as our next contender that is coming up right now. Wasps. Wasps are very different from bees. If you look closely, wasps appear more menacing than bees. What you see here is a wasp, and not just ordinary wasps, wasps that contain abilities. that it will use against to fight off enemies, to find prey, and all sorts of obstacles that come their way. Large mandibles to bite off parts of enemies, wings to hover in the sky, and a stinger so bad it will give the scorpion a run for his money. And yes, they are nasty, and they are found all over the globe. There are about 100,000 of them all over the place. And it's true what they say, wasps are much aggressive than bees. So there are some wasps that can be social or solitary. Now let's look at the ones that are social. Some like company of other wasps and enjoy them very much, while others prefer to be alone and stay by themselves and don't like other competition. So what they do when they first meet, they sometimes kill each other, and it doesn't always end well. And just for you to know, wasps are predators. They eat mosquitoes, small insects, small mammals, large insects, large grub, anything that comes in their way. They includingly eat other predators such as spiders. Can't you believe it? They eat spiders. But they are not only just predators, they're also parasites. Ooh, that's a very disturbing title. Afterwards, when the female and male, let's just say wasps, poke stingers, the female will have eggs inside her abdomen. So she will look for a target, and not just any target, an insect or live prey. So she'll use her stinger to paralyze the prey. Then the horror begins, because she implants the eggs inside the living insect. Unfortunately for the aphid, it will not live for another day, because the larvae inside the aphid will start eating and growing inside him while the insect is alive. Then, for a very long time, the hatchling or the larvae will grow and will begin to eat its way out and leave the empty shell behind. And from there, the process starts all over as the wasp goes on and wreaking havoc like what their mother and father has done. But it won't be doing it alone, because it has its trustful stinger, which is used to fight off enemies, paralyze prey, etc. It is very useful for the wasp, and it's much different than the bee, because you see, as the bee, when it stings someone, it dies, and this is because the bee's stinger is not smooth to enter through the thick skin when removed, so it's instantly pulled out. As for the wasp, its stinger is smooth and straight, so when it injects, then it can remove easily, so it doesn't end up ripping off. This is bad news for us, because now the wasp is able to sting repeatedly, since the stinger won't be able to be removed. So it will keep stinging and stinging until the prey is filled with venom. So be very careful with these insects, because if you bump into a whole swarm of them, then you're getting like 1,000 stingers all over your body, and especially when they sting repeatedly, you're gonna die very quickly. So although these insects are dangerous, nasty, and very menacing, they help nature as well, because they balance the food chain. Without these wasps, then there'll be too much insects and prey, and they'll devour all plants, and everything will be in balance. They even help control the spider population, which is also good, because we don't want too much spiders eating all the insects. So it's a good thing that these insects exist, although I don't like them, but they're still needed. Now, let us compare and see how these two insects collide with each other, and how they're different and how they are similar from each other. Final judgment. Well, from our results, these two insects are completely different. Seeing the list, none of them have similar characteristics to each other. So, why do people get confused between them? Well, like I said before, the bee is very well known throughout the entire world. Everyone knows what a bee is. And the wasps have that similar features to the bee, especially with its yellow stripes and color. So you could quickly call a wasp a bee or a bee a wasp. It's really hard to tell the difference, but with these facts, you know the difference now. So that is why people confuse them with each other. What's similar about these two insects? Well, one, they belong to the same classification as the Hymenoptera, and two, they're both threatening, and they can be lethal to humans if they want to be. So, and another thing is that these two insects can come in numbers. Wasps, they could choose to be solitary or can be in a group. It depends on the species. But remember, these insects are very dangerous, and you should not be provoking these creatures. What they seek is peace and quiet, and no disturbance, while some like to disturb. So remember, black and yellow killed the fellow. Goodbye.